Like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.
Among the legacies of the 9/11 attacks are counterterrorism stings, the FBI's tool of choice to identify and stop would-be terrorists. But instead of nabbing dangerous terrorists, these aggressive stings appear to entrap financially broke, mentally ill, or otherwise hapless individuals. Still, the use of these stings has only expanded over the last 2 decades.
More arrests of ISIS sympathizers here in the United States. The FBI nabbed at least 6 people in Minneapolis and San Diego.
The man accused of trying to bomb the Federal Reserve building in New York also considered targeting President Obama.
These 2 Zion residents tonight claim that government agents made them do it.
The worst kind of entrapment that the FBI engages in is when they tell you the top of the hour ad break is coming and that you can fucking avoid those ads by subscribing. Especially when it's September, so you can subscribe for fucking $4 instead of $5. Or for free with a Twitch Prime. Like, that is actually entrapment. You know what I'm saying? You can also use an ad block, though, or a VPN, but Twitch Prime is free if you have an Amazon Prime account that you can steal from your, FBI surveillance guy, or your wife's boyfriend, or, the person that you're dog sitting for, all those are people that have Amazon Primes, you could like literally fucking steal it from them. Here's the 1 minute ad break now.
They say entrapping them in schemes
Yes, the Governor Whitmer kidnapping was entirely facilitated by the FBI. I agree.
Dreamt up by the FBI.
So let's go back to how all this started. After al-Qaeda operatives hijacked commercial airplanes on September 11, 2001, the FBI was the frontline agency, put in charge of stopping the next attack.
Global terrorism and the FBI's response to what happened on that day is something that I and almost everyone in the Bureau thinks about for a good part, a better part.
But he's such a sexy fucking anti-Trump guy, dude. He's so bold and brave, dude. Fuck me, dude. I love him, though. I just want him to clap my fucking ass cheeks and blow my shit to smithereens, dude. When I think of Robert Mueller, I just think of like a sexy guy who'll give me leg cramping orgasms. You know what I'm saying? Hey, who am I? Oh, I'm your fucking liberal wine mom. That's who, okay? I'm like 90% of chats like liberal wine moms. The ones that aren't, watching Fox News and screeching about how fucking Anthony Fauci is gonna make them infertile even though they're like 65 years old and there's no shot that pussy is popping out another baby. There's only 2 kinds of moms in this chat. Ones that want to fuck Robert Mueller or ones that think Anthony Fauci is actually causing them to go into menopause early with their fucking vaccines. It sucks, but it's true. And I'm fucking all of them.
Of every day.
By the way, I have to admit something. You guys will cancel me for this, but I don't give a fuck. I listened to the Shane Gillis stand-up special. You guys remember that guy? The one who was like doing like anti-Asian jokes and shit. After he got like after SNL wanted to hire him, it came out that he was like doing, Cumtown adjacent, Cumtown light fucking jokes. He's friends with the Cumtown guys. Anyway, I listened to his fucking stand-up special. There was a lot of really funny parts about it. There was also some sus-ass parts about it. Like, there were some weird parts about it. He's not like, he's not always hitting, but some of the jokes were really fucking funny. Like the Fox News dad one is really funny. It surprised me. And I would have thought he's like a hack, like total fucking hack, looking at all of his like Nick Mullen light humor. I was surprised that he was actually pretty funny. Shane Gillis, dude. No, it's not on Netflix. It's actually free on YouTube. There's a reason SNL hired him. I mean, SNL doesn't have a great track record of hiring funny comedians. MSNBC covering the racist video game Quest for Saddam in 2003. Oh, yeah, I remember this. Why would you think he's a hack? Because I only saw, like, his worst fucking jokes from the podcast where he's like, I don't even remember what they were, but he was just, like, making fun of Asians a lot. And also because SNL wanted to hire him. So immediately I was like, strike one, SNL wanted to hire him. Strike two, all I saw were his, like, worst fucking jokes. Because that's the reality. Like, jokes never work if it's robbed of its context. They never work in, like, a fucking written format or if you ever have to explain it. Okay? And the jokes that you always hear from comedians are just ones that didn't slap. And joke making is, like, entirely reliant on an audience and constantly fucking honing your craft. And there's going to be a lot of jokes that are just not funny. So when I saw the Asian shit that he was doing, I was like, oh, this guy sucks. But then when I saw his, I'll show you the fucking Fox News dad a bit. It's pretty funny. He was using the C slur beyond that. There wasn't really a joke there. At least Mullins has some bona fides and actually a lot of experience with living with a Chinese family. Yeah. I've said this before a million times over, but, like, comedy that doesn't come from a place of understanding is just not funny. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. If you're going to, you can absolutely make fun of marginalized people, but only if it's, like, coming from a place of understanding the plight. Because if you're just pointing at, like, a fucking group and being like, aren't they funny because they speak weird? Then you're not funny. You're just a fucking racist, right?
Chuds and Hogs were doing a medical freedom rally near where I live.
So basically, like, I was just surprised to see his, I was surprised to see his like body of work. It was pretty
Fix
good.
that shit real quick. Love you, Hassan. "15 months kek wait."
I was hitting up Brace to see if he'd be down to do a loose change documentary. If he wanted to, like, do a fucking watch party for loose change the documentary. But now, after seeing how much motherfuckers responded positively to, like, the conspiracy theories in the chat, I feel like I should not watch that documentary.
FBI first built an unprecedented spy network in Muslim communities nationwide, recruiting more than 15,000 informants. And to find would-be terrorists, the FBI deployed what was, not so long ago, a very controversial tactic: undercover stings. FBI stings weren't new in the post-9/11 era. Back in the 1980s, for example, the FBI targeted the brash auto executive John DeLorean in a sting. The FBI recorded DeLorean agreeing to bankroll a cocaine smuggling operation as a way to save his ailing car company.
That's crazy. I can't believe the FBI would arrest someone for doing exactly what the FBI and CIA have done for so long. Wild, dude.
The jury in DeLorean's criminal case agreed with some of the early criticism of stings. He was acquitted at trial after arguing that he was illegally entrapped by federal agents. Stings nevertheless continued and became a key weapon for federal agents during the so-called war on drugs. They were so common that they've become part of our popular culture.
Miami Vice, you're under arrest. Turn around and put your hands on the bar.
So after 9/11, the FBI realized that if agents could use stings to find drug dealers, why couldn't they use them to find terrorists?
111, test.
The earliest of these counterterrorism stings involved informants, posing as some sort of terrorist operatives, offering the means and opportunity for would-be terrorists to move forward with otherwise implausible plots. An example of this involves 7 poor black men in Miami. They became known as the Liberty City 7. An FBI informant told the men he was an Al-Qaeda operative. But the evidence in the case strongly suggested that the Liberty City 7 weren't plotting a terrorist attack, but running a scam. The FBI informant offered them $25,000, and they appeared willing to say just about anything to get the money. During the sting, the Liberty City 7's leader spoke of bombing the FBI office in Miami and the Sears Tower in Chicago. It was all talk, because the group didn't have money or weapons. But the FBI built a case by asking the Liberty City 7 to give a pledge of allegiance to Al-Qaeda, which resulted in this ridiculous bit of FBI theater.
You will repeat after me. God's pledge, is upon me. And so is his compact.
The Liberty City 7.
Bitch, why don't you radicalize some bitches, dude? Look at this fucking couch, dude. These dudes don't even have, like... These dudes barely have a bed, let alone fucking weapons, dude. What the fuck? Crazy. Just madness, dude.
7 case was so...
Damn, FBI was like, damn, bitch, you live like this? Here, we'll give you some money. Quick, say you love Al-Qaeda. Come on, quick. Come on. Just say you love Allah or something. I don't know. Fucking whatever Al-Qaeda says. Do that.
Problematic.
These dudes looking like Al Kmart. True.
Prosecutors 3 trials to convict 5 of the 7 men on terrorism charges. That could have dissuaded the FBI and the Justice Department from these kinds of cases. But it didn't. Instead of abandoning terrorism stings as a tactic, the FBI refined the tactic, introducing more and more actual weapons into the supposed plots. Everything from guns to car bombs to surface-to-air missiles. The FBI has run counterterrorism stings nationwide. My colleague Margot Williams and I have been tracking
this. Is the funniest shit. Like, they literally are just like, hey, it'd be a shame if you, like, went and purchased all this Tenorite, okay? And then all these guns that, oops, we just found right here. That's crazy. From us, of course. And, oh, if you don't have money, well, look, here you go. Here's the money for it. It'd be a real shame if you did all this, right? I mean, that'd be crazy. I mean, here. And then you could go here right at this time and maybe, you know, blow this area up. And it's like, well, okay, dude. Well, you did the terror attack then. And then they just fucking, oh, we thwarted another terror attack. It's like, bro, you did that. It was literally this, dude. They were just like handshaking themselves and then hurting themselves.
These things for years. As of the 20th anniversary of 9/11, about 350 defendants have been prosecuted on international terrorism charges following FBI stings. The vast majority of these defendants didn't have the money or weapons needed to commit acts of terrorism. The FBI provided everything. Most of these stings involve the use of an informant, someone either paid to work for the FBI or doing so for leniency on criminal charges. In other words, these informants had direct incentives to find supposed terrorists. The vast majority of these defendants also never had connections to terrorists overseas. The only terrorists most of these people knew were pretend ones, specifically FBI operatives. But the courts have rewarded the FBI and the Justice Department with a near-perfect conviction record in these cases. One reason for that is that the FBI makes the plots look real, coaching targets through jihadi videos.
You are a Muslim, stand up for Allah and our people. Fight for him. And fight.
Yeah, who are the real terrorists in this scenario? I'm having a fucking hard time. Who are the real terrorists in this scenario, chat?
To create a caliphate worldwide.
And then providing them with bombs that seem pretty scary.
This is what we're going to test. I just call it a Christmas tree. When it's for real, we're going to take this off. We're going to put 2 other wires in there. Oh, okay, it's real simple. All right. Right now, we're just going to fucking test it. I'll go over the whole thing with you.
The FBI claims these stings get potentially dangerous people off of America's streets before real terrorists can enable their violent ideations. But data about these cases doesn't support that claim. That's because of the approximately 350 people who've been prosecuted and imprisoned following FBI terrorism stings, about half have been released, meaning they're back on the streets, available for any of these supposedly real terrorists to recruit. In reality, FBI stings create terrorism plots that federal agents can then foil, and government officials can claim to Congress and the public that they've thwarted terrorism.
We have also seen individuals.
That's precisely what the FBI did over and over again during the Bush years and during the Obama years. You know, no surprise that like our national security strategy involving John Brennan who Obabe was supposed to fucking prosecute, not like highlight to a position of hire to a position of power, was basically this over and over again. This is why neoliberals and neocons have nearly identical points of view in dealing with terror, and our fucking foreign policy reflects that exact same reality. It's just an endless sequence of, you know, congratulating ourselves for thwarting terror attacks that we fucking created.
American citizens, apparently inspired by Al-Qaeda's ideology, take matters into their own hands. Again, we have disrupted a number of these plots, including individuals in Texas and Illinois charged with planning to blow up buildings.
Since FBI terrorism stings almost exclusively target Muslims, the resulting arrests over 2 decades have exaggerated the perceived threat.
Yo, Gaming Andy, shut the fuck up, dude. It's 9/11, bro. Are you fucking kidding me? Shut the fuck up. I'll game when I want to, okay? God damn, bro. Really? On this day? On this holy fucking day, you're gonna be like, gaming when? Gaming when? Wow, you not gaming is my 9/11. Meh, meh, meh. Like, this is an important event for young Zoomers to develop a fucking conscious and develop a better understanding of, like, why shit's so fucked up and the way that it's fucked up. And you're out here fucking crying, dude. No, I'm not going to play Microsoft Flight Simulator on 9/11.
Threat of terrorism from Muslims in the United States. That helps create a false narrative.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
But the effectiveness of these stings in preventing real terrorism is questionable. Before Omar Mateen killed 49 people at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, Florida, the FBI had investigated him twice as a possible security threat. And with a perceived growing threat of right-wing domestic extremism, we're beginning to see the FBI use stings more often in cases involving potentially violent domestic extremists.
Yep.
Recently, the FBI targeted a group of right-wing extremists in Michigan with a sting involving a ludicrous plot to kidnap.
Fucking told you, by the way. It literally identical. Literally identical. Just like take a bunch of fucking crusty whites who are poor as fuck and dumb as fuck and literally put them in the exact same scenario that they did with the fucking Muslim kids they would find on the internet. And then, you know, pat yourself on the fucking back.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer. The FBI encouraged the men's anger and extremism.
If this whole thing, you know, starts to happen, I'm telling you what, dude, I'm taking out as many of those motherfuckers as I can. Every single one, dude.
Keep moving. But with the use of a dozen informants, the FBI appeared to make the entire plot possible. When the FBI...
They literally, like, all the people in those text threads that were like agitating to actually do this were the FBI people.
Announced arrests in the case in October 2020. The supposed plot led the evening news.
Now, in an indictment that reads like a movie script, prosecutors say members of a militia group met in secret underground room and used encrypted communications to hatch their plans.
The reason that the indictment read like a movie script was, of course, because it pretty much was one. It was packaged and produced by the FBI to make it appear like a terrorist plot was foiled, just like it's been done hundreds of times before in the 2 decades since 9/11. But as with stings involving so-called international terrorists, there are questions about how much such stings stop actual right-wing extremist violence. Just a few months after the FBI arrested those Michigan men, a violent mob stormed the US Capitol. The FBI was caught flat-footed, apparently unaware that extremist groups like the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys were planning for such violence.
Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, how the fuck do they not stop this shit when Enrique Tarrio is literally an FBI informant, dude? It's sussy as fuck. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's sussy as a motherfucker, dude. I feel like 20 years down the line, we're gonna be talking about how they, like, totally knew that this was gonna happen and they were just like, oops. Yeah, no additional security is necessary for January 6th, where there was going to be a fucking violent insurrection that people were talking about months in advance. So sussy.
That's just more proof that these stings don't stop the actual threats. They just catch the unsuspecting people the FBI can set up as terrorists.
To be fair, though, to the FBI, I will say this. They also, during the time of the Red Scare, they would also collaborate with the KKK in an effort to thwart the actual problem, which was black communists and revolutionary black organizations. You know what I mean? So there is that. So it's maybe a bit column A, bit column B, you know? But then again, I fucking don't know, because the FBI is like not as fucking, I mean, they're still reactionary as fuck. But I also feel like they've become like way more lib nowadays than they used to. You know, I feel like it's all like Yale graduates and shit that'll still do like what liberals do, which is ultimately still, you know, manifestations of white supremacist attitudes and all that sort of stuff. But I do feel as though sometimes the, you know, sometimes I feel like the FBI is a little libbed up nowadays. I don't know. They couldn't get anyone to do in the left group, so they resorted to assassinating their leaders. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.